You will have 2 hours to complete the exam. Mr. Jankowski.
There's been a car accident.
Is there any other family to call?
No, it's just me.
I'm just looking for work, sir.
The movie is a wonderful romance.
Who's the woman who works with the horses?
That's the boss's wife. She don't talk to nobody, and you don't talk to her.
There's the feeling of forbidden love.
Any living creature needs to know who's in charge. They can sense when a man's power is full strength, when a man's power is not.
You're a beautiful woman that deserves a beautiful life.
I think it was an incredibly sweet story.
Don't follow me. He'll kill you. He will.
It's my decision.
You break my law, you have to pay a penalty.
It's gotta be now.
What am I doing? It's romantic and it's dangerous if I got so pulled into that world. Hopefully we've created that transportive experience.
Hold on. You're in for the ride of your life.
Jacob is a 23-year-old student at Cornell who's studying to be a vet. He's just about to qualify and work in his father's practice. He'd had a relatively insulated but happy life, and it just completely gets taken away from him.
Did they need money for any reason 4 years ago?
My tuition.
Now, perhaps if you hadn't gone to college, you'd still have a home.
And he has to rebuild his life.
So Jacob hits the road, hoping to find some work, and hops a train and ends up hopping a circus train.
We'll get you some work for the day, and if you're still alive at the end of it, I will take you to see August, the Lord and Master of the known and the unknown universe himself.
Welcome the stars of the Vizzini Brothers' most spectacular show on earth. It's the Depression era and a circus at the verge of going under, being kept alive through a lot of make-believe and illusion, but also through sheer willpower.
August feels like having somebody who's educated around him. Jacob reveals that he went to Cornell and he studied to be a vet and suddenly jumps at loads of ranks.
You do right by me. I show you a life most suckers can't even dream of.
Water for Elephants is really a story about building a life for oneself after loss. But really, the movie's also about the moral compass you use when building that life.
The world's run on tricks. Everyone plays.
Slowly, Jacob sees the darker side of August start to emerge, and things start to change.
If anything happens to Marlena, anyone as much as touched her, I hate to think of it.
Any time, any facet of his world could possibly crumble, he can be very aggressive and very violent.
My circus is a sovereign nation. Wait! Wait! War! No! Wait! I want you all to experience the earthquake impact of what I'm about to show you. Meet our salvation. Her name's Rosie.
When Rosie the elephant joins the circus, Marlena has to learn how to perform with the elephant. She becomes this sort of magical performer. It's a romance between a woman who's in a very abusive relationship with her husband and a young man she becomes infatuated with.
Why'd you stay with him? Jacob thinks she's forgotten that she can still be a person without a circus.
A star attraction. Out there, I got nothing.
Jacob sees her being kind of destroyed by it. There's a better kind of life that's meant for you. It's quite a selfless way of loving someone.
Don't follow me.
It's a very rich, emotional story about building something for yourself and having hope even in really hard times.
Here we go! And action!
Everybody came into this movie with a huge love for the story and the script.
Reese was right there from just about the beginning. She said, I want to be part of this project. And part of that is being Marlena. Not just little traits and little bits, but she really became Marlena.
It's always a scary thing, especially if you're going to do a love story. You're worried about the chemistry between the two actors. You have an idea that the chemistry is going to work, but then you got to get them in the room and hope for the best. I think we were doing one of the dance sequences in the middle of the movie where we saw them holding each other for the first time and getting close and starting to whisper, and you instantly saw it, and it was a huge relief. Rob Pattinson still had this purity about him, and I saw that he was able to look at things with wonder and with humility, and I just thought, wow, if I can capture that, that would be fantastic.
Robert Pattinson plays Jacob Jakowski, and he is just fantastic. He's such a wonderful person, and he's also very funny, and we have a good time.
He brought that joy of the experience of the filmmaking into the character.
Out of all that dirt and sweat comes so much beauty. You're grandstanding me, kid?
Christoph Waltz plays August, and he just came in on fire, just blazing. He really tried to get to the genesis of his darkness.
Your heart goes out to an animal suffering. Well, that's noble and that's good. But what that tells me is that you never saw men suffer.
Christoph really understood August and was all for trying to find the humanity of August.
Did you see Inglourious Bastards? What more needs to be said?
Oh, dissension in the ranks. Betrayal trumps lust. That's what sells tickets, kids!
He really saw all sides of it. He wanted to make sure that people understood the humanity of that character, too.
And they came to do this project because of their love of the material.
They loved the story and the characters and the world.
Clowns into the tent, please. Clowns inside the big prop.
I love creating worlds. This was a great world to create. The circus during the Depression was fantastic, and to be able to do the romantic, magical version of that was a treat.
Every day I felt like I was in the 30s.
Jack Fisk, who did the production design, built this world for us.
Jack Fisk's sets are really authentic.
We made everything as real as possible.
He's just so fantastic at the kind of real, natural, textured worlds. And he understands the perfect texture of dirty canvas and all of the aspects that was going to make our circus feel real and rich.
The train is so magnificent, and the circus tents that were there, and you look at the edges of every frame of the film, there's just like something a little broken or a little dirty or a little dusty that was just so authentic.
Our biggest tent was 160 feet by 110 feet, and we had wooden poles, and the center poles like 2,500 pounds apiece.
The way Jack works is he finds those old timers that are still around and put those kinds of tents up that aren't done that way anymore. And he figures out what's that real rigging, what's the real rope, how were they put up. We're going to train our extras to actually put this thing up. So when you see the movie, our extras are pulling the ropes and pulling the quarter poles, and you see the tent going up. It's really our guys really putting this thing up. We really created a circus from the 30s.
I love the 1930s. It's one of my very favorite periods. All of the glitter of the circus contrasts the Dust Bowl Depression era.
She was able to make it feel real and authentic, but also have wonder and magic and romance.
I feel my job as a costume designer is finding the character.
Jacqueline West and I imagined that she would be making a lot of her own costumes from scratch, all of my performance costumes, modifying them for different performances.
Her very first costume we see in On the Horse was probably made out of a 20s beaded evening dress. During the height of the Depression, she would have made costumes out of almost nothing. When they buy the elephant and they feel the circus is going to be more affluent, she makes a costume from scratch and beads it herself and comes up with a kind of very Mata Hari-esque costume.
We imagined that Marlena would be watching movies to get inspired by Greta Garbo and Marlene Dietrich.
August's character is a very larger-than-life character. He had to be dressed like that, and I could see Christoph in the costume transforming into August.
Jackie and Jack, they really created this world. They did magic.
When I first read the script, I always liked the idea of working with a lot of different animals.
One of the reasons we cast Reese and also Rob were their love for animals and the willingness to work with live animals all the time. And both Rob and Reese were very, very excited, especially about the elephant.
And Ty's an Asian female elephant. She weighs about 9,000 pounds, and she's about 9 feet tall.
We went out to her little elephant house, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. I've never been by such an enormous animal who's so kind of graceful and careful around people.
It was just a really extraordinary experience to have nonverbal communication with another actor. I really feel like she was an actor. I can't express how extraordinary it was.
Gary is patient, he's quiet, calm. So his elephant does anything he says.
Probably what took the longest to train was to pull the stake up out of the ground and then swing it.
That's gonna be good.
We did a lot of rehearsing with Reese. She came out here to our facility several times.
I trained with Ty for 3 months. She was so calm. She was like, come on, lady. Come on, get back up here. I was terrified at first. She picked me up the very first day and I just screamed. But as time went on and we spent more time together, and that nonverbal communication, but you know you're saying so much to each other and trusting each other, I became much more comfortable with her. The mounting and dismounting of an elephant is the most complicated part of it, but I finally got it.
All I can say is every film I do after this, I'm trying to have Ty in it.
When do you ever think you're gonna be this close to an elephant again?
A lot of the scenes involve animals that can't really be tamed. They just totally provide you with something that you would never, ever have thought of. And they create the reaction in you as well. Yeah, scenes like having your arm bitten by the lion. It's great. It involves absolutely no acting whatsoever. Just plain terror. And that's it.
It was exciting to me.
For a few months together, a few hundred of us have basically run away and joined the circus.
It's a fabulous story with wonderful people, with animals. How often do you get that?
It's exciting, it's emotional, and it's scary sometimes, and horrifying other times. But also it had real themes that I think everybody can connect with. I really hope people are left with a real sense of living your life to the fullest.
I don't think anything's been made like it in a long while.
I love the world. Here they create this beauty and this magic all in one day, and then they tear it down and move on, and underneath it is all this danger and desperation.
I just find it so moving, but it's also hopeful, and that this woman finds redemption and get a second chance in life and to find her own happiness.